Welcome to Package Your Genius. I'm your host, Amanda Miller Littlejohn. I'm a former print journalist turned PR and personal branding pro, and I am here to help high achievers like you bring your genius ideas to life. Whatever gift you have to give the world, I want to be a catalyst for your next genius move. If you're ready to stop overthinking it and start putting yourself out there, you're in the right place. Let's go. I'm going to preface this episode by saying I am in the middle of the forest, so you may hear some very loud crickets or bugs or other nature sounds that are visiting with me while I record this podcast. But over the last week, I have been confronted with a number of people who seemingly have the same outlook as it pertains to not going after their dreams and not making time and space for what they want to do with their gifts. And the theme that's been coming up is, well, if I am putting all of my time into other people and other things that need me, it's okay if I don't go after what I want. You know, this person really needs me, so that means I don't have time for me, so that makes it okay. And to be honest with you, I have even been examining my own schedule as it relates to my kids and how much I have been pouring in to them and getting this new school year off on the right track. But thinking about how things will look moving forward, I know that I have to do a better job of carving out time for me because, I'm so busy and my kids need me and I've got to, fill my entire schedule with activities for them is just not going to cut it when it comes to why I don't have the time to pursue the things that I want to do. So I want to talk about that and just really help you get some clarity, hopefully, if that's an issue for you, around that as an excuse or a reason for not going after your dreams and why it doesn't matter. So putting other people above yourself and denying or deprioritizing your needs for the sake of someone or something else doesn't make your needs go away. I'll say that again. Putting other people above yourself or denying or even deprioritizing your needs for the sake of someone or something else does not make your needs go away. So for me, sacrificing my Saturdays for my kids, even though I promised myself that I'd get some creative work done, doesn't erase my desire to commit to the creative work that I've thought about. And I think that many of us think that if we have a good reason for not taking time to answer the call, i.e. our children need us, or our sick parents need us, or a friend needs us, or our boss needs us to work extra hours, we think that having a good reason somehow lets us off the hook. But as I've said to you before a few times this week, callings call. Your calling is going to call. And regardless of what's going on with you personally or even professionally, your calling is going to keep dialing you until you answer. Now, what does it look like when you don't answer? What types of things happen in your life? What does it look like when you deny yourself? When you ignore what you can so clearly hear? So for some of you, that may look like irritation or anger. You're mad, upset, and it's hard to talk to you. Every little thing sets you off and you're not sure why. For others, it may look like depression or sadness. You have this just low-grade feeling of emptiness and malaise that plagues you, even though nothing is really wrong. For others of you who are actually really tuned into what you are giving up and who you are kind of putting in front of yourself, you may feel a sense of resentment to those people. Even though you may not want to say it or admit it, you might resent your kids, or you might resent your friends. You might resent the fact that your parents need you so much. It may look like anxiety. You just have anxious, nervous energy and you don't know what to do with it. It could look like not being able to focus or feeling really overwhelmed because you have so much building up on the inside of you and you need to release. But rarely do we call a thing and correlate our unwillingness to answer the call with any of these symptoms and feelings that we don't have a home for. So when my youngest son was really young, I noticed that he had a lot of extra mental and physical energy. And he was also very musical. So I decided to put him in music lessons to give him a constructive way to channel and process all of this additional energy. So now whenever he gets super hyper and fidgety, I now just tell him to go to the piano. Sometimes if we've been out all day, or maybe he's been at home, but he's had to prioritize other things over music, I can literally see his physical body change. I can see the evidence that he needs to get something out. And if too much music gets pent up inside of him, it starts to show. So as his mother, I have made daily musical expression a priority for him. Now, sometimes he has other things that he has to do instead of play a song, like go to school or do his homework or do his chores or eat dinner. And all of those things are really important uses of his time. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm not saying he should skip school and play songs whenever a tune hits him, right? That's not what I'm saying. However, if it just so happens that he hears a song in his head and he doesn't get it out, that song, that energy of that song doesn't just disappear. It doesn't evaporate. That creative energy still manifests itself within him. So he's hyperactive, he's irritable, or he can't focus. And all of this is simply to say that even if you are justifying blowing yourself off because you're giving all of your extra time and all of your extra energy away to work or to family or to church or other obligations, yourself, right? Your inner you doesn't give you a pass. So just like if Connor has to go to school, that song is not saying, oh, well, that's fine. I get it. I'll just pause here for now. It still comes out in other ways because energy is neither created nor destroyed, right? So yourself expresses its discontent through a host of symptoms, and I named just a few. So you're not off the hook just because you have a doctor's note, right? You're not off the hook just because you have a good reason. You're not off the hook just because someone else needs you. You're not off the hook because you're being selfless. You're not off the hook because you're being a good friend. You're not off the hook because you're being a good daughter. You're not off the hook because you are putting in extra time at work. It doesn't work that way. So what you have to do is you have to figure out how you will make answering the call a priority. So the next time you feel angry or depressed or irritated or low energy, and there's really no plausible physical explanation, I want you to take a look at where you're being disloyal to yourself and not allowing your gifts to fully express themselves. I want you to look at what is trapped inside of you that wants to get out. What business ideas, what book ideas, what movements, what events, what conferences have you dreamed up, but you have not executed, and they're still hovering above your head and kind of playing themselves out in your dreams and in your subconscious life. All of that energy, when it gets trapped, it shows up. And so I want you to really try to get present to what you're denying and what you're not letting see the light of day. And that may just be a good way for you to understand all of these symptoms, whatever the symptoms are for you, of not answering the call. So I hope that was helpful. I know every day I think about visibility and PR and packaging your genius and giving you some tangible tips and takeaways for packaging your genius and making yourself more visible. And I'm really excited to talk a little bit about how we can make our opinions and our big ideas known. So be on the lookout. I know it's coming, but I really, for me, doing this exercise of the daily podcast is an exercise in, like I said before, being a clear channel and me answering my call. And so while I have big plans to talk about op-eds and how you can turn the things that make you angry or upset or the things that you're really passionate about into media hits to help you blow up your brand and get more exposure for yourself and your ideas and position yourself as an expert. This whole series on answering the call and why we don't do it has been on my heart, and it keeps coming up. And so as these downloads come to me, I feel it's my duty to give them to you because they're not meant for me. They're meant for you. They're meant for whoever is listening to Package Your Genius. They're meant for someone else. They're just coming through me. So I want to honor that. But I still want you to know that I am coming with some tactical episodes. I have a whole series in mind on pitching the media and blowing our ideas up and getting visible, and why it's important for us to do so, especially for people of color, because I really want to see more of us putting our big ideas out there. So if this was your first episode of Package Your Genius, welcome to this project, to this show, to this community. I'm so happy to have you here. If you enjoyed this episode and any other episodes, I invite you to rate and review, like, and share the podcast, because that helps us reach more people and spread the message far and wide. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.